Hello, everybody. My fantastic faction of followers, fans, freaks, and of fun Fanacom festivities. I'm ZiplockBob, one of the two hosts of Sequel Syndrome Podcast, a talk show about video games and their culture, design, and psychology. Now I shall pass you over on. Wow, I'm off today. To
Good
our
segue,
master
Bob.
of ceremonies.
Good segue. Hi. Now that Bob is sufficiently messed up enough,
Yes.
in a little bit we were talking about some casual versus hardcore gaming and how that started and all that. But before that, I want to know, Bob, what have you been up to this week?
I have been playing a lot of roguelite games. Mainly
Like Rogue Legacy or
no. More like what do you call Enter the Gungeon, because I am still super stoked whenever Devolver Digital throws out they call it dungeon advanced Gungeons and Dragons because the pun game is strong there. Like I'm super excited for whenever that happens sometime in 2018 because specificity is not the strong suit at all.
did you I saw you try Ruiner. Is that like that?
No, but it is a top-down,
Yeah, I know it was
kind of
top-down.
twin sticky, kind of melee combat. It's fucking weird. Like, it's cyberpunk-esque, right? It's basically an action game that is, like, almost top-down.
Right.
Yeah, but I tried that. I haven't really figured out exactly how I feel about it because, I've only played it for about 20 or 30 minutes, enough to go, okay, this could be something interesting, but not like, oh, I'm so hyped. It's just like, this is interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I just know it was a top-down game, and I know it was Devolver Digital, so.
Yeah. Devolver Digital is one of those studios that can make, like, they find the hidden gems in the sea of indie games, and they usually put out good stuff. Outside of that, the only other thing I've been playing a lot of is Majesty, because I've been playing a lot of games I enjoyed when I was a kid, to be honest.
That actually looked really cool. I was watching. It was lurking your stream. And I saw you playing that with
Was it
medieval
the one
city.
that was 3D or the one that was like 2D?
It was 3D.
Okay, that was
It looked
Majesty
like
2.
It looked like Age of Empires.
And D&D. Basically,
Yeah.
that's all it is. And it's very bare bones by today's standards, but it's still very fun because they got the groundwork done. But so yeah, if they ever make a sequel to those games, I will buy that in a heartbeat. So what games have you been playing?
Well, I've been streaming Far Cry 5.
Mm-hmm.
Game is nuts. You saw me play it.
The game's a Far Cry game. Like,
yeah,
like
but it's another level when you're walking down the street and a bear decides to take a nap in the middle of the road.
yeah, it's like,
Just
did
puts
that
his
bear
nap in the
play
middle-
possum? Because it was just
take
like
a nap in the middle of the road.
because it's like walking sees you. Then gets up and walks off, and you're like,
It's like, I dare you to come down this street. I'm like, okay then. I have stuff to do today. Let me go over here.
I ain't got time for this.
I've also been playing some more They Are Billions. That game is rough, man. Like, it's a zombie-based RTS similar to Age of Empires.
Mm-hmm.
But man, if you don't play nearly perfectly, that game will tear you apart. I've also been playing, because it's the NHL playoffs. I've also been playing some NHL 18. So
Wait. Hockey?
yes, hockey.
Man, the last time I played a hockey video game was Wayne Gretzky's for the N64.
That's like a 94, right? 94.
Yeah, that game was solid, dude.
Yeah,
It was
I
the best
remember that
boxing game I ever played.
Best boxing game.
No, seriously, back in the day, every hockey game I ever played that was a video game turned into a boxing game because I sucked at hockey.
Wasn't there like an NBA Jam hockey game, like NHL Blitz? I think it was called.
Yeah, NFL Blitz was.
NFL Blitz. I thought each one of the sports had like.
Well, they did
over-exaggerated-
until here's what happened without drawing the segment out to stupidity.
Breaking the fourth wall. There we go.
Because I really do want to talk about today's subject, and the more I spend on here, the less we get there, right? But basically, what happened is the NFL says this company has bought the exclusive rights to make our games. Nobody else can make an NFL game. They can make a football game because they cannot lay claim to the entire sport.
Right.
But without that NFL license, it's really hard to sell copies.
Right, because you can sell, you can make a football game, but you can't sell properties of an individual company.
Yeah. It's I can make a football game, but I can't put the Atlanta Falcons, the Cleveland Browns, the Vikings, or any of those teams in there, which is most of the draw. Now, I will say with NFL Blitz, the one thing I did love about it is that if you put in a code, you could play as Raiden.
Which plays Mortal Kombat characters.
Yeah, it was so stupid, and it worked because the game was this high-flying, stupid thing. So, yeah. But, yeah, that's basically all I've been doing. And have you been playing anything else?
That's as far as I know. It's as much as I'm playing this week.
All right. So, Zez, tell us about our unofficial sponsors this week.
Well, our first one is GatherBot, who is graciously watching over Bob's chat at the moment. GatherBot is brought to you by the Opera Event.
Yes. The company that makes it is called Opera Event.
Yeah, okay. They allow you to do things to support podcasters and Twitch streams, such as using their free tip system. You can do things like play mobile games, PC surveys, PC games, and even purchase things in games via microtransactions. Scary word.
No, it's yeah. Well, and here's the thing: you don't have to do anything that requires a microtransaction. You can avoid those completely. Otherwise, I've been oh, you profit off of microtransactions? Nope, I'm good. Thanks.
Right.
Bye.
But you could also play, what's that Final Fantasy game? New Empire or whatever? Get to level 25.
Oh, God. Right now, you can get up to 10 subs if you get to, because you get 2,000 sub points as a sub. So you get 20,000 sub points if you get to level 21, or if you get your main capital thingy to 21.
Right, the Empire thing.
Yeah. But that being said, speaking of free subs, because we all love those.
Subs.
Sandwiches. Thank you to all our Twitch Prime supporters, even if you do not use your monthly free sub through Twitch Prime. Either way, it does allow you to watch this ad-free when it's being taped live, and it also lets you support our channel and some of our sister affiliations, such as Bottle Rocket Gaming and such, through linking up your Amazon Prime account with your Twitch account. It's stupidly easy, and you get one free sub a month, and you get all them emotes.
And lastly, our last charity is StackUp.org. They're a fan of 2015. StackUp brings both veterans and civilian supporters together through a shared love of video games through their primary programs. The Stack supply crates, air assaults, and the StackUp Overwatch program. You have first-hand experience with them, don't you, Bob?
Yeah, I actually work with them. They actually have things called Stacks, which are local groups of volunteers that support veterans through shared language of gaming to create a nice support group, because I don't know about you, but me, I like having a support group with gaming, because there's some games I'm this Fortnite, it's a fun game, it's enjoyable, but I don't play solo because I suck at it.
Path of Exile.
Yeah, Path of Exile, same thing. But, that's entirely what the Stacks are. They're gaming groups as a way to help, bring veterans and civilians together, because, that is, that goes a long way towards mental health.
Yeah, I can see that. Their Overwatch program is a program that connects veterans coping with PTSD or other general issues from those experiences in transitioning to civilian life. their volunteers are called the Stop Squad. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's short for a Stack Up Overwatch program. They're like,
Okay.
okay, SUOP. Nope, we're not. It's like we're not calling this soup.
No, we're not calling it soup. But the good thing about them is they're available 24/7, 365. So
Yeah, you can contact them via Discord, and it's all as a way to promote mental health because I don't know about every person that gets out of the military, but me personally, I'm like, I don't want to go to therapy, and I don't want to talk to somebody that doesn't know what they're talking about. So this is a nice little gateway.
Or there's nothing wrong with me. I don't need help.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was definitely me. Again, I was like, I don't need help. I'm hardcore.
Speaking of hardcore,
Yeah. Speaking of hardcore, that's it for our little segment on all of our wonderful sponsors and the charity of the month. Let's talk about hardcore and casual game in reference to gaming and where the heck that comes from. So, let's start off with some basics. What is a casual game and what is a hardcore game? Casual games usually very simple. It requires little time to master the bare bones basics, and it focuses on shorter PlayStations.
Sure,
Yes.
PlayStation.
Yes. Give me PlayStations.
PlayStation dwarfs.
You know, the
Little
PlayStation
arms.
1, you know, the ONE towards the mini.
Yeah.
But it focuses on like shorter
The mini
sessions
actually-
of play. And the basics are like so easy to grasp. Like think of Bejeweled or Candy Crush or any of those match 3 games. They lean on it being very accessible as its selling point, and that's not something I would find intimidating. I wouldn't go, oh man, this looks really like a really hard match. It's a match 3 game.
Although, to be fair, there are some crevices of the internet that you can go and find really, really deep match 3 games.
I don't doubt it, but that's not what a casual game's meant to be.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You were trying to say the validity of a match 3 game being difficult or deep.
Oh, they can be deep. The deepest match 3 game I ever found was on the Super Nintendo. Wario's Woods.
That's all I was saying.
Yeah. You just saying? You just Vegeta?
Yeah.
Prince of all Saiyans!
Who's
Well-
on your back wall?
One of them, and you actually bought me that. Thank you. Thanks again for
I know that.
Thanks again. But they can't be easy overall. They can be difficult overall. So, now tell me how that compares and contrasts with hardcore.
Hardcore games follow a lot of the same tenets that casual games do. They tend to require a longer investment to master all the basics.
Mm-hmm.
They focus on longer play sessions. I would say a longer play session is anywhere between 3 to 5 hours or more.
Yeah.
3
Or
hours
even
enough.
an hour or half an hour to get started. Because, like, I can put, like, a Mario level is not a casual... Mario is not a casual game. But I consider that more of a core experience.
Yeah, it's a more core game.
Because...
I think for me the longer play sessions is how long does the meat of the game take after you get through the initial learning phase.
I'm more of a how long when it comes to play sessions, in my way of thinking, is like a play session is defined as, okay, I'm going to sit down and play this game. Once I make that decision to, okay, I'm done with playing this game for now, how long is that? And for a lot of the more core games, that can be anywhere from 30 minutes to 30 hours later. I'm still playing Skyrim because it's Skyrim and it's addictive like that.
It's different than if you're playing Dark Souls, where that first 3 hours you're probably going to be laying in blood.
No. Dark Souls is 5 minutes. That's my play session on that. That's
That's your PlayStation. I'm just saying how long it would take, because Dark Souls all those Souls games are more hardcore style games.
Yeah.
Your Dark Souls, your Bloodborns, your Neos, they're all more hardcore style games.
Yeah.
Now
I will say that hardcore or casual, I'm not talking about difficulty because I've seen casual games be unfairly hard because they want to get you with those microtransactions.
Right.
Like, look at
No,
Candy
no,
Crush.
no. I was just saying. Like, I'm going to go Dark Souls again. Dark Souls' thing is not that it's difficult.
Oh no,
The
it
Souls
says it's
games,
difficult, but it's fair.
right? It's punishing.
Yeah.
You know, which is a mark of a hardcore game.
You know, like, if you go, like, treat it like a debate with a developer, right?
Yeah.
Right? A casual game is like, can be debating with somebody that's like, we're just debating over the basics and nothing else. A hardcore game is like debating against somebody. It's like, yes, I have a PhD in astrobiology or xenobiology. Let's have a debate over xenobiology. And I'm like, I'm not prepared for this. Help!
That reminds me. This is not. I don't think this is casual we're talking about. But have you heard about the Microsoft lawsuit?
Oh, over shading.
Yeah.
That does bring me up to my next point about hardcore games. That it's like a big selling point of hardcore games is it either A, its difficulty, or B, its graphical fidelity.
Or intricacies to make it.
Like I like even like sports games, right? It's like, you can smell the AstroTurf.
Who uses AstroTurf anymore?
I don't know sports, okay? All information I have is from the 90s, and that's because I grew up in a football family.
Yeah, well, AstroTurf was a thing in the 90s. It's not really a... Just
Again,
now.
90s is where my knowledge is from.
I was saying in 2018, it's not really a widely used thing, considering to go on a sports tangent, turf caused a lot of injuries.
True.
But
honestly, like your hardcore game, like say, I have never played a game before. What should I start with? Most hardcore games are not your answer.
Unless you want to start that way.
I mean, like, they're not ideal because it's like, wow, that's kind of intimidating looking. Like, even the Witcher series, right?
Well, they got...
Even on the easiest difficulty, because you have so many systems that are interconnected with each other, that's kind of intimidating.
But they got games that are simple, like Meat Boy or I Want to Be the Boshi.
Those are... See, I would call those casual games that are just hard as fuck.
I don't think they're casual games. I think they're hardcore games.
Really? Because I can do a 5-minute play session with Meat Boy.
You could do a 5-minute play session with Meat Boy.
Like,
would you call Cuphead a casual game?
No, that's a hardcore trial and error game.
I think they're in the same. I think they're in the same field myself personally.
True, but it's like this is one of those discussions where I'm just like, it's kind of hard to like, but like I remember. And this was a for me because of my age, but some people can still go, oh yeah, that's still totally a thing, and I wouldn't doubt it. But when it's like, oh, it's like I'll play these casual games, and that was a dirty word.
Yes, it still kind of is a dirty word.
It's like, so let's talk about the history because this, if you notice, it goes in cycles. It's like how big of a deal it is. It's like they're ruining gaming by making it accessible. No, they're improving it, asshole, and here's why. So back in the 70s, so like Pong and stuff like that, how games were covered and marketed was being described as, being something the whole family can enjoy. And
board games on your screen.
Yeah, like seriously, like a lot of like the board games and like sports were translated into video games. Excuse me. Like, you had Pong, table tennis, and hockey. All three of those games looked the same for some reason back in the day. But still.
Well, hockey, same concept as Pong, so...
Hockey.
Yeah.
It's like loosely. But, There were games towards like you would pump a quarter in a machine, you'd play it for about 5 or 10 minutes, and okay, quarter's done, go on, or pump in another quarter. You know, these games weren't like, yeah, they could take some time to beat the whole game, but they weren't a, oh my god, this is gonna be 60. I'm gonna pay $60 and have 60 hours of play because to beat it one time, right? Somewhere down in the 70s, a stigma kind of did pop up of video games being male centric, and that actually comes from computers in general had
Yeah.
that stigma of you do you put it together with your hands and you mess with it blah blah blah, so it's a guy thing. This is also during the time when they started doing pink is for girls, blue is for boys.
Right.
You'd have a pink aisle, which is all the girls' toys, and a blue aisle, which is all the boys' toys. And that still happens to this day.
Yeah.
That, like, it was during the early 80s when that became a thing. And then Pac-Man happened. And it was described in a news article as surprisingly appealing to women. I used to think that mansplaining wasn't a thing until I started doing research for articles like this, and I'm like, wow, apparently it is. It's like, because it's Pac-Man. Everybody loves it.
Yeah, it's a generalization, though.
No, and I'm saying back in the day, like, Pac-Man fever was a thing. I'm pretty sure if they could have got away with it, they would have made Pac-Man branded condoms.
Who says they didn't try to?
Maybe. Durex just wasn't having it.
Pac-Man was Namco, right?
Yes.
That's something Namco would absolutely try to do.
Yeah, because they had like Gum, a cartoon show, and everything under the sun. So Namco, before they were Namco Bandai or Bandai Namco, because yes,
or Band-Aid Namco.
Band-Aid Namco Band-Aids, Pac-Man Band-Aids. See, told you.
See, it's a full circle.
But yeah, back in the day, they basically went, wait, women like this. Let's make a version of this that's going to appeal more to women. And ironically, they made the best version of Pac-Man of classic Pac-Man in my opinion. Miss Pac-Man. The mazes were better in my opinion. It wasn't the same maze over and over again. They'd change.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever played Miss Pac-Man. But a lot of people do feel that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that kind of, and the gender divide quit for a bit. And then it happened again in the 90s because everything had to be extreme!
Do the do!
Like, the 90s is a laughing stock of a decade to the point to where one of my favorite comic book reviewers has a character called 90s Kid.
When did this come out?
What? The comic book? 90s Kid? Sometime in the 2000s.
Okay.
To where it's like a guy that would go, dude!
I'm just sitting there wondering, like, because did he?
But he always brings them
in the 90s, or?
But he always brings them out when he's talking about 90s comics. It's Linkara. Like, look up one of his videos.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like a persona, a character that he does.
Yeah, it's a character that he does where he's like, dude, and the thing is like, hardcore gaming in the 90s would be like, let's say early 90s would be your Super Nintendo. Then eventually your PlayStation, and that's where like Tekken and like a lot more complex deep fighting games came in.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where that spawned. And they were selling like gangbusters because a lot of us have already learned the basics of gaming, which there's no official basics of gaming, but like a lot of things that we agree on with, like oh, okay, in a platformer, you go to the right. The A button is jump. The B button is usually run faster or some sort of attack, like Mario's fireball.
Yeah.
You know, to where they're not having to use tutorials or reestablish things and all that good stuff. But and because of that, there were stereotypes born from it. What would you define as the stereotypical casual player and their mindset and stuff?
What do I define as a casual player?
Yeah, like the stereotype, not an actual casual player. Like if you're like, okay, here's the stereotype, like pardon the expression is like it's like the blackface or yellowface version of a casual player,
Yeah.
to where it's like if I was gonna make a archetype that is a straw man, what would you write them as?
You're talking about a casual player. To me, a casual player is more of a player who uh, may only play big release games.
A casual player?
Yeah, they would only play your GTAs, your those big games that get commercial on TVs, and they play a lot of mobile games.
See, up until the mobile games, I'm like, that sounds like my stereotype for a hardcore player. So I'll play it nothing but like Final Fantasy and GTA and like real games, not that.
No. That's no. The reason I say that about my image of a casual player is they'll play what they see and they'll spend time playing it, but that'll be the only thing that they play, and they won't be exceptionally skilled at it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they'll be like, oh, all games are like what I see on the TV or in marketing in general, however they receive it, right? Okay, I could see that definitely being there, how they look at it, as like how the stereotype. But, like my stereotype for the hardcore is the person that plays like, I'm going to play like the next Call of Duty, like a bro gamer,
A bro gamer.
Like, that stereotype exists for a reason. Like, that was the stereotype for the longest time of what all gamers were, because they were loud-ass motherfuckers that everybody knew at least one of. Right? I was like, gotta play Gears of War, Call of Duty, Madden, Need for Speed, something else by EA. Now I think about it, EA makes a lot of money off of pro gamers.
Yeah, they make a lot of money off of gamers in general.
Like, Madden, FIFA, Call of Duty. Do they own 2K?
No.
Okay, so 2K...
2K is owned by... 2K is... I'm going to say something, but I'm going to check myself on that before I actually say it.
Yeah.
No, Take-Two 2K is part of Take-Two.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but I wasn't quite sure.
Yeah. Okay. So it seems like every publishing house has like a little wing set aside just for like, we will sell copies of these people. Period.
Right.
Like even Square has that. Like, like they know if they release a Final Fantasy game, it's going to sell.
Yeah. I want to go back a step so people understand when we say Take-Two. That's also the company that is the parent organization of Rockstar. So
yeah,
just so you understand like how big Take-Two is.
Oh no, if you want to go with like crazy, like look at Activision or Activision Blizzard.
Yeah, Activision Blizzard is big too.
Yeah.
Or Valve.
Valve isn't that big of a publisher, or not.
No, but they're a big company though.
They're just they've just become the Amazon of gaming.
Yeah, but they do have a Campo Santo now, so.
True. But there are things about the stereotype that I would like to call bullshit on. Your average hardcore player isn't the one of those people who's like, I'm going to spend all my money on all the games and nobody takes bathroom breaks. Bathroom breaks are for pussies. Right. Fuck that. I'm sorry, I'm not getting colon cancer or urinary tract infection because I didn't take a pee.
I will also say there's another stereotype of hardcore gamers being that hardcore gamers are exclusively esports players.
Oh dear God, no.
Like, right, exactly. That's a stereotype.
Like, if anything, here are my exceptions to my personal rule of what games I'll play. I don't play sports games, but I will play me some sock car through some Rocket League because it's so weird and goofy that I love it. Like, honestly, most military first-person shooters I don't play, yet one of my favorite games is a first-person shooter by the name of Borderlands. Like, that series I think is fantastic, and because I like the blend of RPG, first-person shooter. It was new and fresh at the time, and their comedy and the writing's good, right? Where a casual
Borderlands in general is just dripping with personality.
Once you get to the DLCs for the first one, if you do vanilla first one, it's really boring.
I don't know about that. Well, I haven't played vanilla, so I don't know.
All the stories in the DLCs, outside of something.
It's not the story that is,
or personality rather.
Right. Well, yeah. Personality to me is things like, Dr. Ned's health vending machine thing.
Yeah, like you get some shades of characterization, but it doesn't really start ramping up until the DLCs.
Right. No, I understand that.
Like Moxie, for example, like.
Was she a character in the vanilla?
In the DLCs? Yeah, in the first one.
No, I meant in the vanilla game before the DLCs.
I don't think so.
She seems like she would be a DLC character that they added in.
Yeah, like she had it was the Thunderdome. Or Underdome. They can't.
Because they were referencing
the Thunderdome. Yeah. It was Mad Moxie's Underdome. That's what it was. But, like a big stereotype when it comes to, I'm a hardcore, or I play a lot of games, or hardcore gamer, is that, you play games to where all you do is, every game you play is violent. No, it isn't.
No.
I would like to point out that I have... Oh, Jesus. A few hundred hours in a Harvest Moon clone by the name of Stardew Valley. If not more.
I think Stardew's gotten to the point right now where Harvest Moon is the clone of Stardew Valley.
like Harvest Moon is going to become derivatives of it.
Right. When it's not the case, but I think the general perception of Stardew Valley now would be that is the predecessor or the gold standard for games like Harvest Moon.
Yeah, and it really is because, you can do everything from, tend to your farm, tend your crops, herd your sheep and cattle, and raise your chickens and ducks.
What's the multiplayer like in that game?
I haven't found out yet.
You haven't found out?
But, just because I play hardcore games, or just because a game is hardcore, one of the things that is stereotypical is oh my God, it's got to be this grim, dark fantasy. Dear God, no. Trust me, we got bored of that shit in the 90s because in the late 90s, everything was grim, dark. Even God of War has softened a little bit. It's still brutal, but it's done in an artful, tasteful way.
Yeah.
Because, oh yeah, by the way, don't try to do what I try to do and take a shot every time Kratos says, boy. You will not make it through the tutorial. or opening cutscene.
See, I think we need to differentiate. I think we kind of skipped over it, but the difference between hardcore games and hardcore gamers.
Hardcore games tend to be, and
because they're not the same thing.
Okay.
Hardcore
games and hardcore gamers. Here's the biggest difference between one of them. One of them doesn't exist. Like a casual hardcore gamers and casual gamers don't exist. Okay, like
I disagree with that.
Not the stereotypes that we give them don't. So
no, the stereotypes may be inaccurate, but that doesn't mean there aren't casual gamers.
I will say, like, the closest to a casual gamer is someone who's like, you know, like your mom, or like someone who's just getting into gaming. That's like,
right.
I play, you know, like
I play every now and then. I'll play, pick it up here,
or it's like I'll play something on my phone.
Right.
You know, like
right, exactly.
Incremental games are relaxing to me.
Right. That's a casual gamer. You have core gamers who are players who play a good variety of games or a certain set of games,
or even a certain genre. Because like when I was in high school, I played nothing but RPGs, not because it was the best genre ever, it's because that's where you went for story.
I think for me, I think hardcore gamers are gamers who play games an excessive amount.
Let's say more than 6 hours a week.
Yeah, an excessive amount.
And I'm not even going to say excessive, just a lot. More than 6 hours a week.
In one game or in a variety of different multitude of games. Anything like that.
Well, not even 6 hours a week works, because based upon a study in the book that I pulled the subject from, like that inspired me, your average casual player, right, plays casual games about 9 hours a week. Right.
So I think we'd have to say for a hardcore gamer that we need to probably push 15 to 20.
Well, it's not even a time thing, right? It's the type of games they play.
I don't think so. I don't think the type of games they play has relevance on whether they're a hardcore gamer or not.
I do, to a point. Like I'm not, like, here's the thing: we're all gamers, and I love being inclusive. And my big thing is, I wanted to debunk this entire mess. That's why I want to bring it up. But feel free to disagree, and that's cool.
I do disagree with you, so
I call bullshit on using it as an exclusionary tool. Right?
No, I agree with that.
But like, if you want to, but the danger of using it as a categorization tool, right, is like, even in marketing, right? Because like, for marketing, it can be used as it's like, okay, let's figure out who the hell our audience is and trying to sell this product, whether it be video games themselves or video game related, right? Because somebody's a little bit more of a hardcore fan of, like, say, Overwatch than me if they buy a plushie, right?
I don't think so.
I said more than me, because I'll play the game. I'm not going to buy a plushie or any merch at all. I just want to play the fucking game.
I don't think that's accurate, though.
I'm just saying they're more into Overwatch. Not they're a more hardcore gamer, just that they're more into Overwatch than I am. That they enjoy the lore enough to buy a May plushie.
I disagree, because I'm trying to think of a character in Overwatch that I can apply this to. Are there any, like, cutesy characters in Overwatch?
Cute, or ones that somebody wouldn't want to fuck? Because there's plenty of the latter.
I'll change the game. I'll change the game for a better example here.
All right, let's say Pokemon, right? Because I think that would fit your argument a lot better.
No, I want to use Paladins.
Paladins, okay. There's a Jack and Dexter looking character that I'd buy a plushie of, and I don't even like that game anymore.
I think that's the character I'm about to talk about. The guy, the animal that has potions.
Yeah.
Him.
Yeah. I mean, and now what I'm saying is, like, everything else being the same, between me and another person, they're more of a hardcore fan than I am of the game. We both play the game. I don't give a shit about the lore. They do. Get what I'm saying?
I don't think that. I still don't think that's that would make them. I can see that same person not being a more of a hardcore fan of the game than you.
Oh yeah, trust me. There's also I'm not denying that there's someone else out there that's like, I know nothing about this. I just think that thing's cute. I'm buying it.
Exactly. That's
I was like, never underestimate that.
Right. That's more what I'm saying is that.
And that could actually lead them into, hey, I think this thing's cute. I'm buying it. Where the hell is it? Oh, this is from this game? I've never played it. Then that kind of gets them into it.
Or I'm more thinking that they're already in the game and they'll play casually.
Mm-hmm.
You know, an hour here, an hour there, casually. Yeah. And then there'll just be a character that they like. Let's use Mass Effect, for example. Like, back when Andromeda came out, they put the Krogan plushie in the BioWare store. You're Googling it, aren't you?
Yes, I am, because I'm like, would those make a good plushie?
The thing is, people who are...
Oh, it's a baby Krogan plushie. That makes more sense.
Right, exactly.
Okay, that actually kind of... Okay, it's kind of like a pug.
Kind of, yeah.
It's so ugly, it's kind of cute.
But when that came out with Andromeda, you get people who are very casual and don't really care much about the story and lore and history of Mass Effect.
Yeah, they just like, I want the gameplay. I want the gameplay loop.
Right.
Which, honestly, with the first one, I was that way. Because, Zez, I don't know if you know this about me, but I like finding systems and breaking them. That's just what I do.
So how'd you break Mass Effect then?
I didn't.
You failed? Mass Effect 1, Bob 0?
Oh yeah, because like I can break the lower difficulties or even the normal difficulty, right? But once you get on New Game Plus and crank it all the way up,
no.
The game just goes, oh, you think you're a badass. No, motherfucker, I let you think you're a badass. At the end of the day, it's numbers, and my numbers will go higher.
Yeah, Mass Effect 1 was much more of an RPG, though, than its sequels.
And the sequels, it was just a matter of getting good. You couldn't break it with numbers as well. However, I will say, to get us back on the topic before we have to jet out of here.
Because we got to catch a plane and go across the country.
Yes. It's like, eventually I will go to California again and actually enjoy it this time. Last time I was out that way, I was stuck in a desert and it sucked. Like, there's nothing wrong with casual games in my opinion. They have their place, and that's to get what I call the tertiary audience, right?
Yeah.
You know, and bring them into the fold. And it's also a great way of going, like someone who goes, I don't want to play video games. Why? They're all hard. You know. No, seriously, I have friends and family members that would never play a game until I went, here's Mario Kart.
Yeah, I was getting ready to ask about Mario Kart specifically.
Like, I got my ex-stepmom so hooked on it to where when I was in trouble and I couldn't play video games, that rule got bent around Mario Kart because she wanted to whip my ass. And she would. She got good at Mario Kart 64. Like the most used game in my house was Mario Kart. My sister's gotten to Just Dance because
it was DDR in my house. So
Just Dance was basically DDR. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
In my house specifically, the game that did that was DDR.
You know,
DDR, Diddy Kong Racing.
Oh god, I miss Diddy Kong Racing. I'm gonna have to play that later today. You know, like they're good about getting audiences you would not get with quote unquote hardcore games, right? The same people that play or the same demographic for God of War is not the same demographic for insert Mario title, insert Mario spin-off title, or like any number of these mobile games, right? Um, there was a mobile game I loved back in the day called um, Adventure Capitalist. It was a stupid incremental game, right?
Adventure capitalist.
Yes.
I remember capitalism.
Yeah, Adventure Capitalist. And basically it's like, oh, you buy this shop. This shop generates you money. You upgrade a shop, it generates you more over time. You buy another shop and it does this and it generates you even more money at a slower rate. And as you get by like level 25, 50, 75, so on. Like it's an incremental game, you know?
This game that's on the iStore, the App Store.
I know it's on the App Store.
Yeah, came out in May 2014. That game.
Yep. About 4 years ago when it came out, one of my friends was like, I saw one of my friends playing it, and I'm like, wow, I didn't know that watching numbers go up could be so entertaining.
See, I was thinking much, much older, when you said that. Because I was thinking like capitalism, like in capitalism, which I don't know what year that came out.
No, like if you want to go with a casual game that actually got most of my family hooked is Wii Sports. Like we'll have another episode talking about the Wii and how it affected casual gaming. This is honestly just more of a primer for that conversation, if anything.
Well then.
But yeah, it seems it's been fun, but we've run out of time. Zez, take us out.
How do I do that? Nah.
Well, since we have no guest, and this is one of the first few times on your channel, tell me about your channel. Tell me what you do, and here's your 5 minutes of fame.
Oh yeah, I'm Zez. You can find me here on Twitch. I'm gonna be starting my YouTube channel shortly. Thinking what I want to do with that. Find me here at _Zez on Twitter at _Zez. And yeah, on this podcast as well.
Yeah, if any of y'all are like, who doesn't need to be? Trust me, he's the one that pushed me to finally do this. Because I wanted to do this about a year ago.
I mean, I wanted to do this about a year ago.
Yeah, right. But you can find him at twitch.tv / / __ says, wow, this allergy stuff is screwing me up pretty hard.
Yep.
You can find us both at twitch.tv / BottleRocketGaming. You can find this podcast at youtube.com / BottleRocketGaming and podcast.com / sequel syndrome - a bunch of numbers and letters. Just don't worry, there will be a app for that later, and we'll eventually get on iTunes whenever I figure out how to do that stuff. But that's been the show. We'll be seeing you guys over the next few weeks. Some of our future guests include the Super Catch Fighters, Stacy Kruger, and Zez. How do you pronounce her name again? Because I get tongue tied.
Shanana Banana.
Shanana Banana. We'll see you guys next time.